This video is sponsored by FlexiSpot. So today, I printed out this quarter scale statue of Black Cat by Polina Shaman on my Uniformation GK2. This is only my second time printing at quarter scale, and I'm pleasantly surprised I'm able to print at quarter scale quite easily with the GK2. You may have noticed my setup right now is different from my usual videos, and that's because I'm using the E7L standing desk by FlexiSpot. As a statue painter, I spend all day sitting on the desk painting. That's really not ideal for my long-term health, especially with the constant back pain that I have. With a standing desk, I can relieve the stress on my back while still continuing working on my 3D models. Whether you're a right-handed or left-handed painter, the E7L is suitable for both. The splice boards are designed so that I can configure the table for left-hand use or right-hand use. The table is also made of industrial-grade steel and can hold up to 330 pounds in weight. In fact, this Apex Maker X1 is one of the largest and heaviest consumer-grade 3D printers you can get on the market right now. It weighs around 98 pounds and the E7L can easily handle its weight. Not only can it handle the X1, I can also have the Saturn III on top of it without compromising the stability or functionality. If you're interested in adding the E7L to your home studio, make sure to go check them out on their website. You can find the link to their homepage in the description below. Thank you FlexiSpot for sponsoring this video, and now let's get back to preparing Black Cat. Resin 3D printers can really print out some super high detail models, but nonetheless, there will always be support marks that require cleaning up. This really is a crucial step because a poorly prepped model can ruin the whole paint job. Sometimes you can also get layer lines like this, and I like to use Milliput to fix it. My secret is to mix Milliput with isopropyl alcohol so it becomes like a paste that I can brush onto the models. Once it's fully cured, you can just sand it down and the layer lines will be completely gone. Now let's bring out the airbrush and give her a nice coat of black primer. While I wait for the primer to dry, let's start working on the base. I'll be using this purple express color from Vallejo to give the base a bit of shadows. I'll only be spraying the bottom just to make this clear resin more interesting to look at. The final step I always do on clear resin is to finish it with some gloss varnish. I find it really helps with the see-through effect. With the base done and Black Cat all primed, now let's paint. I always start with a skin tone first, and pink is the color I like to use as the foundation for most of the female characters I paint. Then, I apply the first skin tone with a mix of Athena skin and skin tone from Vallejo's game color range. To make the skin more interesting, I use a very thin down bright red to spray on certain areas of the skin. Then, I move on to the first highlight color, Pale Flesh. I make sure to thin it down properly and spray very light layers so that the previous work can show through. The final highlight will be the same Pale Flesh but mixed with some off-white. The last highlight should really be applied conservatively. You only want it on the highest areas. Basically, less is more in this situation. Time to move on to her portrait. The face, and more importantly the eyes, are probably the most important part of the whole statue. I actually have a how to paint eyes tutorial on my Patreon and YouTube members page. I'm following the same techniques showcased on that video to paint this Black Cat. If you're interested, go take a look on Patreon or join my YouTube membership. the eyes done, time to work on the rest of the face. While I wait for the skin to fully dry, I start working on her bodysuit. To mask off the skin parts, I like using Silly Putty. It's super easy to work with and won't leave any nasty residues on the statue. To properly place the highlights and shadows on her suit, I decide to glue her legs together first. And because I still need to paint the gloves on her arm white later, I'm using some poster putty to hold it together for now. To do the highlights, I chose to go with a red to match the red ruby on her base. Going back to her head, I'm using the same Silly Putty to mask off the face so I can airbrush her hair. For her white hair, I'm using a warm gray as the base tone. I really enjoy using this color to paint white. It has this purplish tone to it, and I think it looks really nice. It also matches the warmer tone I've been using on her. I'm also using the same color for the remaining parts of her suit. With the base layer done, I follow up with an off-white as the highlight on her hair. To finish off, I go back in with the brush to paint the areas I wasn't able to cover properly with Silly Putty. I also use the airbrush to blend my brushwork with the rest of the hair. All that's left is the area that I'm too lazy to mask off, so I'll be paintbrushing the remaining parts of her suit. To give the latex shine on her suit, I'll be airbrushing some satin varnish all over her suit, gloves, and boots. If you've enjoyed my content, consider liking and subscribing to my channel. I will be doing more 3D print and paint videos. Let me know in the comments which character you would like to see in the future. If you want to find some awesome STL files to 3D print yourself, make sure to check out my newsletter where I showcase many beautiful 3D models from various studios. Now, let's finish assembling Black Cat and head to the glamour shots.
You don't mean nothing to me. E-boys like you every dinner. I don't believe what you preach. You're just a rookie beginner. Hang out with boys in the street. Like that will make you a winner. I don't believe what I see.